to Jumbo Safari Media. This is Jumbo News with me, Tracy Wamboi. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines. Putin's ceasefire proposal, a truce with strings attached. Passengers evacuated onto burning jet's wing in dramatic Denver airport incident. Taiwan labels China hostile force, tightens security measures in response to Beijing's influence. Columbia University punishes students involved in pro-Palestinian protests, citing anti-Semitism concerns. US influencer faces backlash after snatching baby wombat for viral video. Nuclear talks with Iran resume amidst rising tensions and looming deadline. In an unexpected twist of events, Russian President Vladimir Putin has given a somewhat surprising response to the idea of a ceasefire in Ukraine. But as they say, be careful what you wish for. A simple truce proposal seems to come with a long list of conditions that may make peace seem a little bit more elusive. Let's delve into what's happening behind the scenes. Putin has for the first time signaled some support for a ceasefire in Ukraine, responding to a proposal for a 30-day truce. However, this support comes with strings attached. While acknowledging the idea, Putin emphasized that the ceasefire must address the deeper issues fueling the conflict, including terrorism control and military mobilization. His main point of contention was the status of the Kars region, which Ukraine briefly captured last August. Putin claims that Russia now fully controls the area and that Ukrainian forces are isolated there, with limited options moving forward. Ukraine, however, has rejected these conditions. President Volodymyr Zelensky has called Putin's response manipulative, arguing that the preconditions outlined by the Russian president are simply tactics to delay peace efforts. Zelensky has also called for further sanctions on Russia, hoping that continued pressure will force a change in Moscow's stance. In response, the US President Donald Trump expressed a desire for a swift end to the conflict. Trump has reiterated his hope for a ceasefire, but it seems that Putin's conditions may prevent any meaningful progress in the short term. While the US has imposed additional sanctions on Russia's oil, gas and banking sectors, the real question remains: will these measures be enough to change the Kremlin calculus? While Putin has expressed some support for a ceasefire, his preconditions make it clear that any peace agreement will require significant negotiations. While Ukraine, however, is pushing back against these terms with both sides entrenched in their positions. Just when you thought flying was stressful enough, it seems it's getting a whole lot more thrilling, and not in the way you would expect. Well, passengers on an American airline flight were forced to take an unexpected detour straight onto the wing of a burning jet. Let's break down the high-altitude scare that ended with an unexpected wing walk. Passengers on an American airline Boeing 737-800 found themselves in an unimaginable situation when their flight experienced a frightening emergency. The plane, which had taken off from Colorado Springs and was headed to Dallas-Fort Worth, diverted to Denver International Airport after the crew reported engine vibrations. Soon after landing, smoke began billowing from the aircraft and flames could be seen near the right engine. To escape the growing danger, passengers were evacuated using inflatable slides and onto the tarmac. In shocking footages, passengers are seen on the wing of the aircraft, some holding bags, as firefighters and ground crews rush to the scene. Fortunately, despite the dramatic images, there have been no reports of serious injuries. 12 people were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The FAA confirmed that an engine-related issue caused the fire and they are investigating the incident. American Airlines said that there were 172 passengers and 6 crew members on board. all of whom were safely evacuated. The evacuation comes amidst growing concerns over aviation safety in North America, following a deadly crash in Washington, D.C., and concerns about the air traffic controller shortages. This incident, along with recent high-profile events, has raised questions about the state of air safety in the U.S. Well, in the end, a harrowing experience for the passengers, but thankfully no major injuries, with the FAA now investigating the cause of the fire. While this incident adds to an ongoing conversation about aviation safety, and for now, the focus is on understanding what went wrong and ensuring the safety of future flights. Well, it looks like the Taiwan and China are back to their usual love-hate relationship, but this time with a new twist. Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te has just labeled China a foreign hostile force, and with that he is announcing some tough measures to control Beijing's growing influence. But as expected, Beijing is not taking this lightly. Let's dive into the escalating tensions between the two sides. Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te has labeled China a foreign hostile force, accusing Beijing of trying to subvert Taiwan's government. In response, Lai announced new security measures, including reinstating Taiwan's military code system and tightening residency rules for the people from China, Hong Kong, and Macau. China swiftly condemned Lai's remarks, warning that any move towards Taiwan's independence would trigger decisive actions. This is not the first time Lai's pro-independence stance has drawn Beijing's ire. Lai also raised concerns over China's influence on Taiwanese celebrities who are pressured to support Beijing if they want to succeed in the Chinese market. The government is now calling for clear guidelines to prevent such pressures from undermining Taiwan's sovereignty. Taiwan is clearly ramping up its defense against China's influence, both politically and culturally. With tensions on the rise, the question remains, how far will Beijing go to maintain its claim over Taiwan, and how much will Taiwan be willing to push back? While Columbia University has taken a strong stance against protesters, but not the kind you might expect. After students took over a campus building last year in support of Palestinians, the university has handed down some severe punishments, suspensions, expulsions, you name it. But of course, that's not all. This move comes after some very heated political drama. Let's get into it. Columbia University has taken action against students involved in a pro-Palestinian protest that took place last spring. The protests escalated when students occupied Hamilton Hall to voice their support for Palestinians amidst the Gaza conflict. The university's disciplinary board issued sanctions including suspensions, expulsions, and temporary degree revocations for dozens of students involved. The university's actions follows federal pressure as the Trump administration pulled $400 million in funding, accusing Columbia of failing to address anti-Semitism on campus. The decision to discipline students also comes after the arrest of activist Mahmoud Khalil, a Colombian graduate, by federal immigration authorities. Columbia University's response to last year's protests marks a significant move in the ongoing campus debate over free speech, political activism, and university responsibility. Well, as tensions continue to rise, it's clear the university is taking a firm stance on these policies. Some people will do anything for a social media moment, even if it means infuriating an entire nation. Well, meet Sam Jones, a US influencer who thought it would be a good idea to snatch a baby wombat from its mother for a viral video. Now, the only thing that's gone viral is the backlash. After a storm of outrage, she's packed her bags and left Australia. Sam Jones, a US influencer, sparked widespread outrage in Australia after posting a video of herself taking a baby wombat from its mother with the intention of creating viral content. In the video, the distressed wombat is seen hissing before Jones returns it to the wild. Her actions, quickly drew condemnation from Australia authorities, including Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, and wildlife experts who criticized the blunted disregard for the well-being of the native animal. Despite Jones claiming the wombat was safely returned, conservationists pointed out the harm caused by separating the baby from its mother. Following public outcry and petition calling for her deportation, Jones chose to leave Australia voluntarily. The incident underscores the dangers of exploiting wildlife for social media fame and serves as a reminder of the importance of respecting local wildlife laws. While Jones may have avoided formal charges, the public outrage she sparked will likely serve as a reminder that some actions, especially those involving wildlife, can't be undone for the sake of social media fame. It's no surprise that high-stakes nuclear talks are happening with countries like China, Russia, and Iran involved. With Iran dangerously closely to developing nuclear weapons, global powers are scrambling to figure out how to stop them before it's too late. But of course, what could possibly go wrong when you're negotiating with a regime that's playing both sides? Let's take a deeper look at this global game of nuclear poker. The international community faces a critical juncture as the historical deal that was supposed to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons is set to expire later this year. The 2015 agreement, originally brokered under President Barack Obama, imposed restrictions on Iran's nuclear activities in exchange for sanction reliefs. However, after former President Donald Trump withdrew the U.S. from the agreement in 2018 and reinstated sanctions, Iraq began violating its commitments, accelerating uranium enrichment to near-weapon-grade levels. Experts now warn that it would take Iran just days to enrich enough material for a nuclear weapon, putting the world on edge. As tensions rise, diplomatic efforts are intensifying. China is hosting crucial talks with Iran and Russia, seeking a diplomatic resolution to prevent further escalation. At the same time, U.S. President Donald Trump has issued an ultimatum to Iran: negotiate or face military intervention.
I've written him a letter saying, I hope you're going to negotiate, because if we have to go in militarily, it's going to be a terrible thing for them.
You wrote a letter to the Khomeini?
Yes.
The leader? When did you send the letter?
Yesterday.
And you said you better negotiate, or we want you to negotiate?
I didn't say you better. I said,
Okay.
I hope you're going to negotiate, because it's going to be a lot better for Iran. And I think they want to get that letter. The other alternative is we have to do something, because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
However, Iran's leadership, including Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has dismissed talks with what they call the bullying U.S. With the expiration of the deal approaching, the UK, France, and Germany are threatening to impose snapback sanctions, hoping to exert pressure on Iran. But even as tensions mount, it's unclear whether Tehran is looking for peaceful resolution or simply seeking leverage in a more aggressive strategy. Thank you for tuning in to Jumbo News, your home for international news. Remember to subscribe, share, and like.